Hey everyone, this is Andrew, and in this video I'm going to show you how to do what a lot of people call the power fry scream. Now, in all my videos before, I've called this the high scream, and I'm just kind of going to call it the power fry scream in this video, because a lot of people refer to it as that, or just the fry scream. But, you know, a lot of people refer to it, so I'm going to refer to it as this in this video, title it How to Power Fry, so the people that actually want to find how to do this scream can find it and know exactly what it is. So I just call it the high scream because I don't want to associate it with the like Melissa Cross style like yeah thing. That doesn't sound good. The kind of scream I'm talking about is what like Bullet from a Valentine or Periphery or Textures or Born of Osiris and part of their stuff uses. You know, various artists. I use Bullet from a Valentine as an example more just because that one song is that nice example that I like in it. That like, betrayed one more time, but somewhere down that line, you gotta get what's coming to you. I don't know, I just love that song, the like one song. Periphery does it a little differently. Like in all their songs have that high scream or the low scream and some of the newer stuff. That one example I pulled up because I never know their lyrics. That the ground upon that which I grow is not the same. They feel the grow in your way. And yeah, I even messed up a word with the lyrics in front of me, but you know, that kind of scream. It's called the power fry, or you can call it the high scream. And so in this video, I just want to show you how to do it, just like I would show you how to do my high scream. I haven't made a strict, like, show you how to do this video in a while, because I've already shown it a lot of times, but, you know, I got a new computer with a new webcam, and I'm going to do this with the microphone, so everything should sound and look a little better. So there's a new view for me, but, you know, let me know how you like this view, I guess. So, we'll get right into it. So one of the ways that I think is the easiest way to kind of learn the power fry scream, or the high scream, is to kind of get this demonic moan sound. And it kind of put it together for me when I heard this song by Sixth. I don't remember what song it is, but if I can remember it, before I put this video up, I'll put a little thing across the lower part here, saying what song it is by Sixth, so you can hear what I mean. But basically, there's like a moan. It's like, you know, like kind of like, and if you do that scream without having any kind of knowledge of how to do screaming, you probably cough, you'll probably get a scratchy throat. It'll go away after a little bit, and you'll be fine. You know, people don't realize there's kind of a connection between that and how to do an actual power fry scream or high scream, whatever you want to call it. Because you just get that, and you add a little more force to it, and it turns into that. And so that's kind of the way I've taught it. So, you know, you get that kind of, if you can make that sound, you add a little more you know, diaphragm pressure. Diaphragm pressure is always important in any vocals. So, and now you're in a scream. And so if you keep fooling around with that, you should eventually be able to get to something that works. And that's really how I learned it. Now, the biggest kind of obstacle in most people's path, it's really in their head, is that, you know, they're going to hurt themselves. And you shouldn't really be worried about it at this point in your, you know, singing career or screaming career, whatever you want to call it, because is it really going to hurt you to try to scream, like, a few times? No. The people you hear about getting vocal problems are the people that are touring for, like, years, or, you know, touring, like, night after night for, like, a few months, and they end up with a vocal nodule because they're doing stuff wrong. People do that even when they're singing. Now, to avoid that, and avoid any, you know, you might, the worst that'll happen is that voice will be sore for the rest of the day, and the next day you might have a little kink in your voice, and it'll go away after that. So, you know, don't do this around, like, a show or something that you need to do, or any kind of speaking. But, you know, most important thing, drink lots of water. The more hydrated you are, the more lubed up your throat is, and the less likely for frictional damage to occur as you're screaming. So that's obviously very important. You know, you want to be using proper diaphragm support, so just your stomach solid. It's the same techniques that apply to singing. You can find thousands of videos online about this. Basically, you know, You breathe with your stomach, not with your shoulders. And when you're screaming, you want to have that like lock hard diaphragm pressure. And so those two things will help you. So try to do that. Learn how to do the scream that way. And if that doesn't work, then move on to this next method. Now, the reason I put that one first is because I think that's probably the safe way to put it, and it's I think it's the easiest one. Now, the next way is what in one of my first videos that I made about this is called the whisper method, which a few people have kind of been like, you don't know how to scream, you teach how to do it in whispers or something, which is it's crap, because it's you oh, I should probably turn that off. You shouldn't be screaming like from a whisper. You're not doing it. But I show it how to scream as a whisper just because it helps you get the sound. In the end, that's really all that matters. You need to get the sound. You need to learn how to do it by experimentation, and then you're going to actually do it. And so you kind of get like you know if you're like pretending to scream or something, you'd be like, I'll just use that example of Bullet for Valentine again. Betrayed one more time, but somewhere down that line, you're gonna get what's coming to you. Look at me now, look at me now. You kind of whisper like that. And, it kind of sounds like a scream, but it kind of doesn't. And the reason is when you're whispering, now, it might not be the same for everybody, but when I do the whisper thing, you're kind of using your false chords to make that sound. Your vocal cords aren't on. You don't hear any note when you whisper. Like, when you're whispering, I don't have a pop filter. When you're whispering, you don't hear any note. So what's kind of happening when you whisper, at least, I haven't actually looked inside people's throats and see when they whisper, but what kind of sounds like to me is that your vocal cords are open, so they're not making any notes, and your false cords are kind of coming a little close when the air passes through to make a whisper. Now, it might not be the case for you, so if you start getting kind of pain or bad stuff happening in your voice, obviously stop and try another method. But, this is a method that you can learn to help you learn how to scream. So, moving on, how to do it. So you get that kind of like, betrayed one more time. And then add more diaphragm pressure, and kind of the thing in your throat that's making the whisper kind of just do more of it. So like, betrayed one more time, betrayed one. And then all of a sudden you're in like screaming domain. Betrayed one more time, bah, bah, bah. And then you have the sound. So fool around with that, just like the other things. You really have to fool around with these, spend time with them before you can actually get something that is a scream and is correct. Even then, after you get the sound, you'll be refining it for like months. I mean, or maybe even years. I've kept refining my screams over time. You learn how to get better at it naturally by practicing, and that's how it works. So, the other way is that just learn how to do this power fry scream, or high scream, depends what you want to call it, doesn't really matter. Is that you can kind of take it from a singing approach. So if you already know how to do vocal rasp. Now, if you're a singer and you want to know how to do rasp and you want to scream, but you really can't figure out the screaming, the other way you can kind of do it is by learning the rasp first, and then going back and learning the screaming through the rasp. And because the vocal rasp and the this kind of screaming, the power fry, the fry scream, or the high scream, whatever you want to call it, there's the same technique, basically. It's just one with a little note in there, pretty much. So when I think of rasping and screaming, I think of a range. I don't think of, singing and screaming. I think of singing, a little bit of rasp, a little bit more rasp, a lot of rasp, pretty much screaming and screaming. It's a big range. So if I was to show you that range, you'd be like, pretty much it. Wasn't my best take at that, but I think you get the point. It's a big range, and you can practice that range to get better control at it, and it's a little easier when you're at higher notes because there's already more pressure, so you can do that, and that's a little lower note. So you can practice the range on any note, and then you can go up your range and practice the range, your dynamic range, pretty much, or your ability to do certain things at each note, and it makes every note stronger in your singing voice by doing this. Just because you're learning how to use stuff while doing other stuff. So it's like multitasking for your throat, at least. So if you want to learn how to do rasp, I'm going to show you now. But just so you already know, I have probably 10 or plus other videos on my channel. I think I even have a vocal rasp or singing playlist where I show you how to do rasp. So you can check out those for more information. But here I'm going to give you the quick vocal rasp tutorial. So pretty much you want to make a buzzer noise, like a buzzer, a game show, like a that kind of thing. So, if you can make that sound, just try it. Just, a lot of these things you just have to go for it, try it, don't be afraid, just do it. And so just go, just try it. And if you can't do it, well, I mean, really, if you can't do it, you need to keep trying, because you need to get some kind of sound like that. If you really can't, sorry, I was looking outside. If you really can't get that sound, the other thing you can do is think of there's a person far away, and you're trying to yell to get their attention. So you're like, hey! And you might not have rasp in it, because some people, you shouldn't have rasp if you're just trying to talk or sing, naturally. But, a lot of people, when they do that yell, they'll just kind of naturally add rasp to it. So try doing that, pretending like there's something across, and just go, hey! And see if there's any rasp in it. And if there is, make sure it's a comfortable rasp, not like a overloading my vocal cords rasp. Okay, so get the ank or do a yell sound, and, keep fooling around with it until you get a kind of buzzing thing that you can do without hurting. And then you kind of, if you can get the ank, I'll take it from that perspective. Because that's honestly probably the most common way people show it online, is that noise. So you get the that's the start of vocal rasp. So you get that, and you just mend it into your singing routine, and you keep getting the tone better, and you work it across your range, and eventually you have you can do rasp. So that's really how it works. So I probably should have prepared some kind of raspy note example, but I didn't. So I'll just kind of sing something random. So again, with that Bulletproof Valentine version, if I was to do that singing part, so it's like, Brad Trade one more time, about somewhere down that line. That's vocal rasp. Or I'll just do the chorus and rasp, like, so many times I've seen it rip a hole into our friendship. This is how it's been, how it always will be. You think you're above me. So you can kind of mend it into your singing routine comfortably with rasp. So, I'm sorry if you didn't like my singing. I don't really care. Not warmed up and I have a cold. No excuses, whatever. I didn't prepare that. So, that's the rough version of rasp. I have other videos. Please check them out if you want more knowledge on that. But if you go from rasp to screaming, it was only a 3-minute tangent. You want to get a raspy note and then keep adding on what you do to make the rasp. So for a good example, I would think of Eulogy or The Grudge by Tool, where they have those long notes. They're like, yeah! That just go on for 40 seconds. And a lot of people would say that's a scream. But it's really just a raspy note. Or is it? It's kind of what is it? It sounds like a scream, but it's just a raspy note. And the band Nothing More has a lot of these raspy notes. And Tesseract, Sky Harbor, a lot of bands that do it. And it's a different kind of scream entirely, really, but it's really just a kind of vocal rasp. So you want to be able to get the hold-out rasp note and just add more vocal pressure and try to remove the note. So I'll show you that. Yeah! So I took out the note, and then added more pressure. So that's how it is. I'll do it a lower note. Yeah! That's it. So it's obviously this takes a lot of experimentation, because I show you all these methods, and then you're like, what the hell does that mean? I can't do it. I can't do any of them. Just keep dicking around. That's really the best advice. All screaming and pretty much really all singing is learning through trial and error. It's most things in life are like this, but the big difference is that most things in life you can observe while you're doing it. You can't observe your singing. You really just kind of have to do it. So, big advice, Well, I'll just go through a whole list of big advices. That's all the methods. So if you don't want to hear my advice, then the video's over. Thank you for watching. But the biggest advice, few pieces of advice I would give you before, and what to do while approaching this and trying to learn this screaming technique. Be very hydrated. Make sure your diaphragm technique is solid. Preferably have a good amount of singing knowledge before you're trying to scream. And oh yeah, also, don't be afraid. It's not going to kill you or hurt your voice or permanently destroy your voice to try for a few days, spend 5 minutes trying, stop, wait a few hours, try again. It's not going to kill you. Try for, wait, listen to your body, but, be able, you can take a little bit of abuse without hurting yourself at all. I don't want to say no pain, no gain, because you don't want to be hurting, but, if you get tickles in your throat and it's a little scratchy, and you're afraid that you're killing yourself, you need to calm down. There's a bad pain, there's a okay pain. So you need to be able to figure that out. But you're gonna be fine. Don't worry about it. Just try it for a few days, and then take some time off, and then try it for keep trying, and just don't be afraid. And the biggest part is just that for me that was the biggest part. But if you're doing the things like hydrating, have a solid diaphragm technique, and having some singing knowledge before you try, that will all prevent you from hurting yourself while doing this, because you'll already know everything in your throat, how it feels, and how it works. You'll have much more control. So yeah, that's everything for this video in my how to power fry or how to high scream tutorial video. So I hope this helped you. Going on 17 minutes now, so it's a lot of stuff in this video. So thank you very much for watching. Please leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Add it to your favorites. That helps out a ton in YouTube, because people will, when you like a video and favorite a video, it shares it to your friends. YouTube boosts up the video. So I would really love for this to reach as many people as possible and help as many people with screaming as possible, because there's a lot of people who find my videos and they're like, why didn't I find it sooner? And we could end this if everyone has just seen my screaming videos and everyone can learn how to scream. And, if you have any questions, please let me know. Subscribe for more. Thank you very much, and I'll see you all later.
We're kept alive. We're still a little solid. We are surprised. Getting